Let me tell you something. This is the neutral palette of all neutral palettes. The second I saw this, I said, oh, you did not come to play. Now, usually, I don't really care for neutral palettes, but it got to have something to offer. And this palette offers a lot. So let's go ahead and get started with the video. Hey guys, this is Ashley. Welcome on back to my channel. So I am really excited to present this video today. Ooh, this was a treat because let me tell you, I opened up my email and I was just scrolling through my email, and my email could be a very scary place because I get a lot of junk email and I don't want to change my email because a lot of people have that email, but then I really just want to do away with the whole thing because it's a scary place and I get a lot of junk and a lot of spam, and it doesn't matter how many times I hit unsubscribe, it just keeps coming back. But I was scrolling through my email and I saw order placed, Adept Cosmetics. And I said, whoop, she hasn't even released the palette yet. I don't even know what it looks like. And Sandra, thank you for sending this over to me because y'all know I get down with Adept Cosmetics. I have been loving the brand. I talked about them so many times last year. They had a really solid 2023. And guess spoiler, they're off to a solid 2024, okay? So this is the Flying Fiddles, and I'm so off track because I have not introduced myself, so I'm gonna put this down for a second, introduce myself. If you are new to this channel, welcome. And if you're oldie but goodie, welcome on back. My name is Ashley. I have a doctorate in pharmacy, and I love makeup. So that's how you get Dr. Ash and her makeup, but please just call me Ash or Ashley. And eyeshadow is my jam, and at the end of the videos, we do chair dances. Yes. That's how we roll over here. So this is the Flying Fiddles palette. So today is Monday the 5th. So this palette actually released on Friday the 2nd. And it is currently sold out right now because y'all know people be snatching up the Adept palettes, okay? But it is available for pre-order. So you can pre-order it right now and it will ship towards the end of February. Now, they don't usually play when it comes to the pre-orders. If they say they're going to give you a pre-order, it's usually going to get there about the same time. Also, if you missed out on the palette Element 115, which I should have right here, oh my gosh, like this was the Black Friday release. I'm such a fan. I fool her heavy. So heavy. So this is gorgeous. So if you missed out on that release, you can also pre-order that and they will come together. So the palette retails for $62 and it is based off of, let me get the flower correct, and I'm actually reading this from the Adept Cosmetics website, and it says this is named after the Siberian iris with a muted grungy twist. So basically she said this is the neutral palette that you guys have been asking and begging and pleading and wanting for, and she said it took her a little while to get it right, get it the way she wanted to be manufactured, get it with that high quality lab that we are used to with Adept Cosmetics. So as you can see, we have 4 mattes, 1, 2, 3, 4. It kind of looks a little different. You know, usually with the other palettes that were just like 2 rows, there were 14 shades or 10 shades. We used to have maybe 4 mattes, the rest be shimmers, or usually it's a row down at the bottom. This one is kind of like, oh, sprinkled across the palette. So I like that because it's a little different. It's different in textures. This particular palette, we actually have 4 pigmented blendable mattes that I just talked about. We have 1 multi-chrome and we have 4 shimmery duochromes and 6 shimmers. So usually we have a bunch of multi-chromes or shimmers. We're known for like the high impactful glitter multi-chromes or shimmer shades with Adept Cosmetics, and there's no difference here. It is also noted that there is a marble shade which is right here in the center, and depending on how you swirl your finger, how you swipe across that shade, it will look different every time. And if you purchase more than 1 palette, it could look different. Or if you notice other people using this palette for a review, it could look a little different on their eyes because it's just all on how the shade is swirled, okay? Of course, you want to keep your palette in a cool, dry area. I recommend that. However, with any type of makeup product, and powder products especially, it will increase the longevity of your products, okay? And she also recommends that you definitely prime your eyes and maybe possibly use a glitter glue when applying these shadows. I always prefer to use the NYX Cosmetic glitter glue at this point with any can't get words out. At this point, I pretty much use a glitter glue when I'm applying my shadows. I don't have time, and I know when they have a lot of mica and what gives them that shine and that slip, usually it's going to require some type of glitter glue. I also recommend using your finger to apply these shadows and then possibly going in with a detailer brush to just go ahead and place the shadows in the direction that you want them to be in. So the full ingredient list is actually on the website. The palette is made in China by our approved lab. This brand is also, I want to say they are, I should know this off the top of my head, but they should be. Yes, they are vegan and cruelty free. The little bunny is on the website. So dare I say, because I am not the swatch queen. Let's get into some swatches real quick of some of the shimmer shades so you can kind of see them up against my complexion. I think this palette is so gorgeous, and I think I really did forget to say that this palette was sent to me. So this palette was sent to me in PR. I do not have an affiliate code with Adept Cosmetics, but she has sent me things in the past, and of course all my thoughts are going to be my own. This will not be the only time you see a palette. Anytime you see a palette, I'm definitely going to wrap up in a couple of weeks after I've had more time to play with it. You also usually see palettes in what I call a palette rotation, where I am using the palette in my everyday life. You can see additional looks that I create with the palette just to keep it, you know, fun, and also because you need to use your palettes. We're always so on to the next thing when it comes to makeup. Oh, okay, so this is the multi-chrome. I just started putting stuff on my eyes, so I hadn't figured out what was the multi-chrome, but Dahlia is the multi-chrome, okay? And like I said, this palette, I'm like, this is just some beautiful stuff. So I'm going to take these first three shades, and yes, I think this will be the best way to do this. Let's pray for me. Okay, so first we have Dahlia, and oh my gosh, do you see? Just gorgeous, just gorgeous. Then we have Tan Toffee Rose, and then next up we have Metal Foam. Just beautiful bronzy shades, really gorgeous. Okay, next up we have a shade, I'm pretty sure I'm going to butcher the name, is Erisima, which is actually the shade that I have right here in the middle of my lid. And then we have Daylily, a really just gorgeous kind of Bordeaux matte. And then followed by, child, let's get the right finger, followed by Daffodil. Do one more swatch of Daffodil. All right, we have Viola Bronze. We have Scorpion Glass, which is our marble shade. And then we have Pompon Button. Look at this color story. So far, it's just scrumptious. All right, we got Yellow Browning. Really beautiful color. Beautiful. I can't get my words out. I'm so excited. Okay, that's not Sahara. Honey Spurge, because I went in with the wrong finger. And then we have Sahara, which was the brown matte. Now we have Blue Crown. We have Rust Bunny. I'm lying. I keep messing up my fingers. This is the last shade, Green Kelly. And then we have Rust Bunny, which I will stick in the middle between there. So that is Rust Bunny. So these are the shades. Look at this color story. Really, really pretty. Just like neutrals, grunges, twists, pops of pink, pops of greens. We have the Merlots, we have our golds, we have our champagnes, we have our taupes. Really good, gorgeous. So, of course, I have 3 looks for you. All thoughts are my own, even though the palette was sent to me in PR, and best believe if she didn't send me this palette, I was buying it. So let's go ahead and get started with the looks. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I do have base makeup on from earlier today that was held up really well, so I'll talk about that later. Got the eyebrows filled in using my Goof Proof pencil, shade 3.75. The primer that I went in today is my Matte Contemplative State primer. It's a paint pot, and I am really excited to play with this. This is like neutral on steroids. Just, it's so good. Let's go ahead and jump in. I am back, and here are the first two looks. And this palette is gorgeous. So I really like this look. This look came out really great. It's bronzy. It's just kind of giving me all the feels. I really love this look too, but this look, I've done it many times before, but I can't deny it's beautiful with the purples and the greens. So let me talk about my face details, and then we're going to jump into the shades that I used in the palette. So far as my face details, I mentioned earlier that I had on foundation earlier today. It was my Rare Beauty and 430W. She's like, I'm starting to like scrape around the sides for real. Like, you know, it's winding down, but I really do like this foundation. I probably will purchase this again, but I also have on my Juvia's Place bronzer in the shade Tan. You know me, I kind of use one bronzer at a time. And then I have on my Pat McGrath Labs, this is the blush in Paradise Venus, which is a nice brown tone blush, coupled with like my favorite highlighter, but you could just take any peachy highlighter. This is by, it's kind of like stuck to my desk. Interesting. There we go. This is by the Maybelline Masterchrome, and it's just like a nice golden peachy highlight. So yeah, I've had this forever. So let's see how long it'll take me to pan this. Like, no, this is like really well before the pandemic. Like it might be circa 2017. So, and really fun for the eye looks. And what I've really been loving, oh my gosh, this is like one of the greatest purchases of the year. Okay, I haven't really purchased any makeup this year. Everything luckily has been kind of gifted to me, but these little babies right here, this is the color I have on the lower lash line here, and this is the Colourpop cream gel liner. You know, they came out with these at the beginning of the year in January, and this is Wild Idea, and I have been loving these multi-chrome eyeliners. They're so creamy, so easy to put on. I can't compare them to the Kaleidos. I don't have the Kaleidos eyeliners, but I love wearing them even by themselves. It's just like a little pop of color on the waterline. And for this eye, I went in with the turquoise one, which is a great idea because I wasn't sure how it was going to work, but Power Trip, that's this one. But it matches like this blue-brown shade so well, plus with the turquoise. So I'm really loving that. And then I have on my Ardell Naked Lashes in the style 420. And then I topped the look off with my Purple Beauty lipstick in the shade Her Magic. And this is what she looks like. So this look, well, both of these looks, like I said, this one is my favorite, but like all the shadows perform very well. Let's talk about the mattes real quick. The mattes, they were matting. Okay, so it's no secret sometimes the mattes can be a little hit or miss with Adept Cosmetics, but so far all of these mattes have been great. So I went in with this first look. I went with a Tan Toffee Rose, and then went in also with Daylily, and these provided a great transition, and I was able to just kind of blend them on top without blending away the other shade. Everything was impactful, even that first shade, which is the Tan Toffee Rose. Then decided to go ahead and pop that in the outer V. And for the second look, I went in with Sahara, which is a beautiful mid-tone brown. That's really great, especially if you're my complexion, because it's like just deep enough and not too deep at the same time where you can get a wide variety of looks and keep your look neutral. And I decided to pop it on the inner corner here just a tiny bit, but I went in with the Blue Crown shade, which is gorgeous, but I decided I wanted it to be a little bit more impactful when I put it in the inner corner after I kind of shaped my look up. So I went in with Green Kelly, and this performed well as well. So it kind of feels like, oh, it's a lot of mattes because she kind of repositioned the palette, but there are still the 4 traditional mattes. But these mattes are really nice. They worked well. They once again, I used it on the primer. That is, what's the name? I can't see any traces of the primer. I just see shadow. They were easy to blend out. And what I do like about the mattes is like you can build them up or just kind of share them out by keep blending them. Or you can just kind of, okay, I want to build it up just a little bit more. And it worked out really well. Now, all the shimmers are really pretty. This green shimmer pom-pom button, really pretty here. Just a nice green shimmer, not necessarily a duochrome. The shade Scorpion Grass, really pretty. Is one of those like marble shades. So it just kind of depends on how you swirl your brush. I think in my preference, let's see. I probably should have gone like this. Yeah, maybe just to pick up a little bit more of the copper and the blue that was in this shade, so it didn't turn to be so light green, but I think it came out really beautiful either way. And then when you put it next to yellow brown, and you do have to be careful because it does kind of take on that similar shade hue tone. But I think I definitely see more copper now that I swiped across versus just kind of swirling it. I think you get more of the green pigment. And Rust Bunny, really pretty as well. Able to blend it up. And of course, you already know that I went in with my NYX glitter glue, because y'all already know I ain't got time. I do not play when it comes to these super shiny multi-chromes. I'm going to lay down a glitter glue. So these are the first two looks. Let's come back. Let's do a third look. I'm really excited. I definitely want to play more with the Green Kelly shade. And I don't know. Oh my gosh, there's just so many beautiful shades in here. I mean, this is like the neutral palette of neutral palettes. All right, I'll be right back. Am back, and here is the third and final look, and I love it. And I feel like I captured some of the essence of the palette that was presented through the swatches, and this is good. It's neutral with a twist. The shades are popping. It's just so pretty to look at, and everything performed well as per usual. So base makeup is still the same. For this particular eye look, I went back in with my more turquoise pencil from Colourpop. This is the Power Trip liner. Really pretty because it matches so well with this shade right here. Now, of course, you saw me go in with the glitter glue, the NYX glitter glue. Everything is just really, really beautiful. So I was purchasing this no matter if she sent this to me or not. It was like a add to cart moment, but the fact that she sent it to me just made it so much more special. This is the neutral palette of neutral palettes. So, I can rock with a neutral palette, but it has to be interesting. It has to be something with it. I need a little bit of more sparkle. I need sometimes a little pop of color. And I feel like this palette provides all of that. It is really gorgeous. The shades are really pretty. pretty. You can mix and match. There's lots of gold hues, like a copper hues, something kind of for everything that everybody, and I feel like it will look great on many complexions, and that's what I like. I also like the matte choices. The matte choices blend out very well. There's not a shade in here that is like, not quite. So that was some of the complaints I had about some of the palettes from last year's releases, except for the Element 115. I felt that all the mattes in that particular palette were great. They were very easy to blend out. The color tones, the hues, everything complements each other very, very well. You got really neutral here. You got a little bit more bold. You have like your mauve moment right there. So it makes the palette very approachable. I feel like you could take this palette from day to night, have a great time with it. You could definitely wear it to work. So I feel like it's really worth the $62 because you can get something, you know, for all stages of your life. You know what I mean? If you really like neutrals, but you want something a little bit more amped up and you've been waiting to try Adept's formulation because everything else has probably been a little bit too much out there. I know Sumerian Sunset is really beautiful, also one of my favorites, but it's really red and orange and vibrant, more those type, and it's not really too many neutrals in there. And then of course the Inspired palette is all green. We have Element 115, a lot of blues and purples and pinks, and everything else is kind of multi-chromes. But if you just wanted something like, I want neutral with a little pop of something, and you've been wanting to try out Adept Cosmetics, honey, this is it. It is beautiful. The packaging, the lace on here, it's just like a fun little surprise. I just did a reel with this on Instagram right before I started putting my little fingers in it to film with it. And somebody was like, yes, it is really sexy with the black lace. And I agree. It's definitely giving like little black dress. And then you're like, oh man, it's the neutral palettes of neutral palettes. So I love how this palette is just formulated. It feels high end. It's great. You can the palettes are definitely magnetized, so well the pans are but I do want to show you another palette that I feel like it would go great with. I can think of so many mashups. I love mashing up my palettes, especially like I did Sumerian Sunset with the Inspired palette, but I'm going to definitely pull out, I'm going to show you this palette. So I pulled out my La Cienega palette from last year. This is a release that came out in the top of the year. So you definitely have a lot more matte choices in this particular palette. So I felt like if you wanted something a little bit more, or if you wanted a different hue or a different tone, because you have the reds in La Cienega, that they would definitely match very well. You got a few more browns. You definitely have a black, which I think will play nicely if you wanted to, you know, kind of jazz it up a little bit more, deepen up the looks. You know, let me hold it great. There we go. So definitely, I feel like you can combine these two palettes together, get some great looks. If you want to try to, you know, pop in another matte, you could definitely take one from out of here and put it in here. I think this is also a great palette for travel. So I really wanted to like this to come before I went out of town for the weekend, because I'm telling you, like I would have been using this. So I think this is fabulous. Like I said, if she did not send this to me, I was definitely purchasing this with my own money. You know, I love Adept Cosmetics. I have featured them so many times on my channel. I don't get PR all the time, but she has definitely sent me things in the past. So the looks, this look is my favorite look. My second look is my second favorite, and then the first look will be my I'm like, okay, I got a little bit of, all right, we're just gonna blend that out. There we go there. All right, yes. So in the first look that I had on this eye came in last. I mean, I feel like it was beautiful, but I don't know, it just didn't give enough to me. It just felt, I want to say regular, but it just felt regular-ish, but beautiful at the same time, okay? And there's nothing wrong with regular. When I try to display these palettes to you guys, I want to be innovative, and I want to be creative, and I want to show you all the possibilities that you can do with these palettes, because, you know, we can always put together a shadow here, and stay within the lines. But I like to mix and match and kind of blend the colors together so you can see all the variations that you can get with a palette. And we spend a lot of money on these palettes, so you want to know what you can do. And I love to be that inspiration. So sometimes I just like to push myself. Okay, turning red here. Interesting here. Little hives. Not sure what's happening there. Just disregard it. The video's almost over. Okay. not sure what's happening. But like I was saying, is that I just like to push it and show all the combinations that you can do, so you can feel like if you're purchasing a palette, or if you're purchasing a palette, that is well worth your money. You know, everybody, we could put a lighter green and a green together and be like, oh, we could put a brown and a gold together and be like, oh, and there's nothing wrong with those looks. I see value in those looks all the time. I do them all the time to go to work. But like I said, when I come on here, I try to push myself. So I felt like that look was just like, it was beautiful, but it didn't really push any type of envelopes, where the second and the third definitely kind of just came together. So let me know what you guys think about this palette. Are you going to pick it up on a pre-order? Did you already get it? Are you loving it? I think this is like a super solid release already for 2024. So I'm excited, okay? So leave me a comment down below. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Hit the notification bell so you know when I come out with another video, which will be soon. And subscribe to my channel, because you know I would love to have you here in my little makeup family. And with all of that being said, you already know what time it is. It's time for the Cheddies. Cheddies. Hey, 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 Cheddies. Cheddies. Hey. All right, y'all. Bye.